also, you know, the other way I think you can think about it is that we are, you know, perhaps we are in the downfall of the broken way. This was not built to last. Inequity, injustice is not built to last. It lasts a long time. It could last hundreds of years, but ultimately it crumbles into this, you know, a small cohort of incompetent people that create damage. And from that, something new can spring. And so maybe something is declining right now, but maybe it deserves to decline.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stays true to her words as her district in New York is run down by gangs and crime. A sanctuary city canceled their annual Cinco De Mayo parade over fears of an ICE raid, and Democrats are running scared as they're being forced to admit the truth. Guys, we got a banger today, folks, so let's go and jump right back to AOC. She's been seen as this leader within the Democratic Party, a lawmaker who's aggressively showing that she's part of the radical left. Now, this is the same person who wants to solve illegal immigration by just simply converting millions of illegal aliens into legal residents of the United States. And it's the same person who flew first class to attend Bernie Sanders' Fight Oligarchy rally. The hypocrisy is just straight up out of this world with AOC. But while she's out there, her district in New York is suffering. This has led to Republican New York City District 25 candidate Ramses Frias to call her out.
After 7 p.m., you cannot walk around here.
In the corner, every like a week, you heard like somebody was killed, somebody was like beaten.
Está muy inseguro.
I feel very unsafe, truly. I've had 3 times someone try to assault me, try to pull my gold chain.
So Ramses, you live there. I was there just about a month ago. Same thing. I saw some of the same stuff. She's out fighting the oligarchy. She's on a tour with Bernie Sanders in like Wyoming and all over and California. What's happening in your district? Why isn't she there?
She's an absentee landlord. She never comes around. She doesn't want to, you know, face the facts that this community is going under. We are facing so many issues from prostitution, violent crime. Gangs are just taking over our streets, putting their tags up everywhere and making things so uncomfortable for all of our community members.
The other thing that was happening was just straight up crime and women not feeling safe walking the streets. Those interviews that I saw were in October. And you see right there a lot of the illegal immigrants starting businesses there on the streets while business owners had to, you know, work their whole lives to get, you know, pay for a license to sell alcohol when somebody's selling alcohol on the streets. How is the business community reacting, and what is the situation of the citizens? Are they actually asking AOC to account for why there's so much neglect in her district?
The citizens, you know, are met with muted answers. No one responds to us. If you reach out to her office, nobody's saying anything. Same issue is going on with other politicians in the area. You know, our businesses are suffering. A lot of doors are closing, and then the doors that are opening are just more brothels. These are the things that this community does not need.
Fox News tried to get a comment from AOC, and as expected, her office didn't call them back at all. Now, I guess she's just too busy fighting the oligarchy with Bernie. I mean, you should also know that she doesn't live in the Bronx either. Now, if you're a congresswoman who's flying first class, it's expected that you don't live there. Here's something that no one else wants to admit. Medicare is complicated on purpose. And unfortunately, most people find out the hard way after they've already signed up for a plan that's just way too expensive or doesn't even cover their own doctor. That's where Chapter comes in. They're not just another insurance company. Chapter is a team of Medicare experts who actually care. They go line by line through every plan available for you. They find out what you're eligible for and how you can keep more money in your pocket. People like Julie from Kansas, she's saving $400 a year now. Jamie in Texas, $600 went right back into her Social Security check. And they don't even charge anything. They don't charge a dime. What they're offering is help, not hustle. So if you're approaching 65 or your parents are, it is worth having Chapter in your corner. So I'll leave a link for you guys. Hit the link down below askchapter.com/Ron and tell them Ron sent you. Now, I want to talk about sanctuary cities. They faced a lot of criticism these past few weeks, especially as they were forced to admit the billions of dollars that they have spent on illegal immigrants. Some mayors have even claimed that they don't even audit the money that's being spent on different demographics, meaning that they've included illegal aliens into their usual expenses. Chicago became one of the first cities that was highlighted by the Trump administration, mainly because their mayor, Brandon Johnson, spoke against working with ICE, arguing that they basically defend illegal immigrants from deportation, giving them advice if ever a raid does happen. But it looks like they're not taking any chances over there, with Chicago canceling their annual Cinco De Mayo parade because, well, they're afraid of an ICE raid.
Concerns have been mounting here in Chicago's Mexican community over President Trump's immigration policies. That's why organizers say they made a decision to cancel the annual Cinco de Mayo parade and festivities. It was scheduled for next month. This comes as Chicago became one of several so-called sanctuary cities in the U.S. targeted by immigration and customs enforcement. Organizers say nearly half of the event sponsors dropped out due to those concerns.
We could have done it with the 50% of the sponsorship, which is great. And but it's not, again, about money. And it's just more about the safety. Our people are scared. See, some of them, they don't even want to go to work. And some of them, they taking a high risk. And definitely, I mean, it's not much to celebrate.
Hey, by the way, guys, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Now, what's really alarming here is that they're kind of admitting that a lot of folks there are here illegally, and that's why they're scared, because they know that it's well within the rights of the federal government to deport them. And here's what I want you to realize. Chicago and its leadership is allegedly protecting the residents of their city from Tom Homan and President Trump, unlike last year when this happened.
Fear and confusion today as gang violence broke out at Chicago's annual Cinco de Mayo parade. The day started as a fun family celebration of Mexican culture and history. There was a stream of colorful dancers, mariachi bands, and countless Mexican flags, but the day took a turn after gunfire was reported near the parade route. Our photographer there was in the thick of things as what appeared to be rival gangs flashing signs, shouting at each other along the parade route. This is at Cermak and Rockwell. A short time later, Chicago police issued a statement saying they were canceling the parade out of an abundance of caution.
It's kind of odd for a mayor to try and defend this. And instead of choosing to work with the Trump administration, they're instead pushing back, even though this kind of violence poses a direct threat to U.S. citizens inside the city. Thankfully, Tom Homan means business, and he's out there to make sure that U.S. citizens remain safe as they deport criminals out of the country. Tom Homan also talked about the Democratic Party and their fascination with gang members.
I just want to focus on one portion when the senator said that he was abducted. As the former leader of ICE, what do you say to him?
He wasn't abducted. He's an MS-13 gang member, classified as a terrorist that was removed from this country. So we got rid of a dangerous person, an El Salvadoran national, was returned to the country of El Salvador, so he's home. We removed him from the United States. He's a public safety threat. That's exactly what should have happened. And I'm just disgusted that any congressional representative is going to run to El Salvador at his aid. When yesterday, I read in his state, an illegal alien charged with murder was released back into the community, and not the ICE detainer wasn't honored, and ICE had to go find him in his state. In his state, the murder of Rachel Murrin yesterday. Listen to the testimony and listen to the mother on Handy last night. If you're not human, then your heart wasn't broken. It's just in his state. But rather than taking care of the constituents in his state, the victims of illegal crime in his state, he's going to run to El Salvador to protect an MS-13 terrorists. It's just disgusting.
And that specific senator continues to make the left look worse than it already does. CNN's Dana Bash asked Senator Chris Van Hollen a legitimate question about Kilmar Garcia. And much like they've been trained to do, he deflects and tries to blame President Trump for what's happening. Check out how he suddenly backtracks as he was confronted about this guy being a legitimate gang member.
Now, President Trump says that some of Abrego Garcia's tattoos signify that he's a member of MS-13. In 2019, police alleged a confidential informant claimed that Abrego Garcia was an active MS-13 member. His wife and his attorney deny that, of course. Can you say with absolute certainty that he is not, nor has he ever been a member of the MS-13 gang? And did you ask him point blank?
Well, Dana, what Donald Trump is trying to do here is change the subject. The subject at hand is that he and his administration are defying a court order to give Abrego Garcia his due process rights. They are trying to litigate on social media what they should be doing in the courts. They need to put up or shut up in the courts. Let me tell you, and I decided to write this down so I could be absolutely accurate as to what federal district court Judge Zinnes said about these allegations by the Trump administration. Quote, "No evidence linking Abrego Garcia to MS-13 or any terrorist activity has been presented to the court." That's where to litigate this. It's been litigated in many other places. So I'm not going to get into the details because the whole purpose of our court system is for them to adjudicate these things, not for Donald Trump to go off on social media.
Yeah, you're right. They have not, there hasn't been a court hearing for them to put forward evidence in the first place, which is your whole point. But since you were the one person to have met with him, and since this is a thing, you say on social media, it's what we hear from Donald Trump and Republicans every day, all day long, you didn't ask him?
I didn't ask him that because I know what his answer is. What he told me was he was sad and traumatized that he was being in prison because he has committed no crimes. And that goes to the heart of this issue because he's being denied his due process rights. And Donald Trump is trying to change the subject. And, you know, when people start asking that question, in my view, they're falling into the president's trap because what the president wants to do is talk about that as if we can't all fight gang violence, which I've been doing for much longer than Donald Trump.
You can't make this stuff up, folks. He didn't even bother to confirm if the guy was a gang member, but his answer confirmed what we all believe. This man was rightfully deported from the United States. He's a member of MS-13, and Democrats are fighting for the rights of terrorists. And they wonder why they're so unpopular with the American people right now. Now, switching gears, guys, I want to direct your attention to a recent live stream I did where I talked about Letitia James. The Attorney General is getting a taste of her own medicine as allegations of mortgage fraud has been raised against her. Make sure you guys check that out because she's doing her best to make it seem as if this is a political attack. As always, appreciate your time. We'll talk next time.